This is my last video, I think, for the Blender Challenge 5, create a weapon. And in this video, I wanted to show you how I did some of my decals in text. The texture itself, I did in actually Smudger Pro, which is an add-on for Blender. Costs about $30, so significantly less than Substance Painter. This is my first time using it, so this is what I came up with for the time being, and have some ideas on how I would use it in the future, although probably more use Substance Painter. But just as a quick review of how you could get some of this stuff onto your models, I thought I'd show you that. I will say that I kind of copped out when I did the buttons. I was going to put separate graphics on each instead of these numbers, and I was just getting tired and busy with my kids and stuff. And so this is what I've done. So in case anybody doesn't know how to do this, there are a few different ways that you could use. But I'm going to show you the way that I do, which is just images as planes and using shrink wrap when necessary. All right, so if you want to see that. Now, a lot of you guys are going to use Photoshop or GIMP. I tend to use Flash. And so for this danger sticker here, what I did is I just drew this in Flash, and I wanted it to look relatively like the original. All right, it's a large, well, it's not that large. It's actually 1200 by 800. Normally, I'd probably do it in 1024 by 1024 or 2K. But I just drew this, and I brought it in. So here's what I would do. I would select that plate there, and Shift S, cursor selected. So I got that there, just like that, and then Shift A, image as planes, and then I would navigate to wherever the stuff is. So there it is, I think, yeah. And let's pull it out for a second. Switch over to here, and to make it run a little smoother, I might select that and that, press the slash key so I can just see that. And so there's my decal. Let's bring it close, and once I thought I had it pretty close, I would just take it and shrink wrap, and as the target I would select this. And then usually I would have to go 0.001 or something just to have it ever so slightly off the surface. You're not going to see anything now. If I click on this and I go over to the shading tab, you'll see that it already creates the nodes. And then from there you can do whatever you want to this. It takes the image, which is my danger PNG, and puts the color into the base color, and it uses an alpha, so it's transparent. But you can add bump and stuff like that. But I think what I did here is I just brought up the metallic, brought down the roughness, so it kind of, let's bring that back, it looked a little shiny. Okay, you can do other things. You could add if you wanted to, you could add a mixed shader here and add glossy, all that kind of stuff. But there's that, and it's in. Now, these buttons, I'm going to show you something with these buttons here. Okay, I'll just select the front. It's translucent. Here, I'll go to the shading editor. Okay. For these, I actually started with just mixed shader to the material output, translucent, and diffuse. Actually, no, I just had translucent to the material output. So this and this and this and this were gone. All right, and then I decided, well, you know what? I'm going to add a diffuse color here, and I got another mixed shader with a little bit of glossy, so that there's a little bit of a kind of a shine to them, but they look kind of that sickly yellow kind of color. I'm going to hide that. Underneath that, I took the same shapes and made an emission material. And there's no modifiers on there. All right, but it's the same sort of shape, so I just had copied them. What did I do? Alt H? Yeah. Okay, so example like this. Okay, I took the buttons. I'll just do it out here. Shift D. I'll bring them out. Okay, I went into edit mode, selected them all. I switched to individual origins, and then I just went S, and I scaled them a bit smaller. All right, and I would push this in behind the buttons like that. I get rid of that. And then with that, I was able to, let's just bring in a camera, and I'll go Control B and select an area. I wanted a small glow, nothing too much. Okay, I don't know if you can see a faint whiteness in there. That's all I wanted. I didn't want them overpowering. And that's how I got that effect. Now, of course, that works in cycles. Keep that in mind. So you want to, yeah, Control Alt B to clear that. 0 to get out of camera view. I did the same thing with this light here. If I hide that, okay, you can see a disc-like structure. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. So it kind of, you know, goes down. It's a cylinder, very short cylinder essentially. And then on top of that, I've got the light. And if we just look at that, you notice what I did here. Initially, when I created the material, I wanted it translucent. All right, and if we come over here, you can see that my brightness, my white to black, is mid. So it's a dark red sort of. And then I did add glossy here into here. Adjusted the roughness because I wanted a little bit of that kind of shine on it. All right, now it's not very, very bright. Let's just zoom in on that and do a Control B and render that really quick. I'm not adjusting my samples or anything up too high, but just to get it to sort of glow a little bit. So that's how I typically get those effects. Okay, so out of there and out of there. This I would have just made as text. So let's just do one real quick. All right, I'm going to start a new file here. Okay, I tend to make it pink for my transparent. And yeah, I mean, again, you probably do this in Photoshop, whatever. Let's just do like I don't know, LCW-150. All right, that's my text. All right, I'll center that up. Now, I'm using a lot of, or not very much of this document, but that's all right. Let's just go ahead and export that as a PNG. I'll put it in here, and this is just test.png. I'm going to use the whole full document size. I'm going to come in here, and I'll come in here, and I'll just select like an area just to bring it in a little closer. And I'll go Shift A, Images Planes, and find that. So it was called test, right? All right, where's test? There it is. Okie doke. Let's rotate Z90 and make sure the orientation is correct. Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's look from the side and say, okay, I'm going to want this right about there. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put an edge loop, and I'm going to slide it up, and an edge loop, and I'm going to slide it down. You can't really see under there, so, and I can delete some of this stuff. All right, so that's fine, just like that. And then let's move it up. Okay. Now, because this cylinder has a bit of a curve, I'm going to subdivide this. I'll put one there, and then I'm just going to hit subdivide a few times. Now, I did black text, and I probably should have done white text. So just to show you how it would work, I'm now going to take this and I'm going to shrink wrap this onto the cylinder, and I'll go 0.001 or maybe 0.01, and then I can slide it along. All right, so I can get some text there. I can probably still scale this, you know, do different things like that. Just, you know, maybe choose a white color instead of a black color. Come in here and I can see this. And let's see if we can mess around with this. Let's come in here, converter, color wrap. Let's put that in there. Let's try. I wonder if I can do this. There you go. Okay. So I now have my white text in there. And then again, you know, if you want to do metallic or roughness or whatever, you could do that. So we can get text on there. We can get the decal. And then what I did for the buttons is I took this and this, and let's isolate that. Zoom in. I zoomed in pretty close, like this. And then took a screenshot. Print screen. Went over to Flash. Let's create a new doc. Actually, let's get rid of that other one. Let's just get rid of that. Delete. Okay, and Control V. And for me, I have to break this apart. This is just, you know, the way I keep using Blender shortcuts. Just to kind of tone it down so I can see the thing. Take this, sort of center it up, lock that layer, zoom in a bit, and then went up on another layer, and I will use, actually, what color is it in a, okay, black text. Okay, cool, so let's go here, 1. Okay, that's going to be, we'll just find, I'm just going to do Arial black or something for now. Maybe 80. We'll try that. Okay. Okay, I duplicate it along. So you could do any kind of symbols that you wanted to do. And once I had that, I would then go back, and you'd think you could just hide it, but in Flash you actually have to delete it. So you do that kind of thing. And then File, Export Image as, I'll just go numbers. Export as full size. Come back to Blender, and I could leave it like that. I'm going to select that, Shift S, cursor selected, Shift A, images planes. Now I lost my screencast 3 keys, numbers. Okay, we'll turn that back on. Hang on. Okay, move that out. Scale it. I'm going to scale this a bit in the X. Not too much. Now at this point, I'm going to go in and do some of this stuff. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to come in here and kind of just go around the buttons. Roughly like this, doesn't have to be exact. Like that. And in the rows, I got that. And if there's anything extra I can get rid of, I can do that. Okay, so let me see what I got. So I got that. So then what I went through is I separated them all out. Oops. because they didn't line up perfectly. So, you know, some people do this with directly on the UVs, and they write on the UVs, and that's a nice way of doing it. I just didn't feel like doing it that way. This was fine. Wow. How long did it take me to do that, eh? So, and then I could take these and just kind of adjust them. Why am I doing that? You know, so let's say that looks okay, and then this one, I'm just going to move this way a bit, and this one. Okay, so let's do this. Let's select them all. I wasn't really worried about poly, so I didn't mind if I just come in here and go subdivide a couple times. It's probably enough. I'll do one more anyhow, just for the heck of it. Okay. All right, so once I had that, I then took it. I went shrink wrap. Let's hide that. Choose that face and hide it. You know, if you want to get into the face, sometimes you have to do that. 0.01, and that's how I did it. So I'll do that one more time. Say on this one, I'm going to choose shrink wrap on that guy. I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to choose that, unhide it, and I'm going to press 0.01. And I went around and I did that for all of them, and I'll bring back everything else. And I had my buttons labeled up like that. Okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you, how I spent a little bit more time on that. And that's how I did that. So very simple to put some text on your models and some decals. And I did the same thing for these guys. Okay, so that's it.